Hey everyone, welcome back to Tugway Pines. Today I will be bringing you guys into the Seedling-Start Station, but not to start anything by seed. We're going to be growing something a little bit different this time. Alrighty, so since everything is pretty much outside already, I mean there's a couple things I have to plant yet, but everything is just sitting outside enjoying what little beautiful weather we've been having. It's been pretty rainy and lately, so I've kind of had to really work with the weather when it comes to planting. But today I figured since everything is outside and just kind of on idle, I can kind of start focusing on something else right now. And I thought mushrooms would be a nice little project. I actually got this little kit. It's a little mushroom growing kit as a gift. Christmas time, I believe it was, not that long ago, relatively. And I thought this would be kind of neat to do during the growing season, you know, when everything is up and running. So I saved it until then, and I figured it'd be nice to kind of show you guys you know, what this is all about, and even try my best to do like, you know, to keep up on the process of it all, like to show you the stages and how the mushrooms are growing and stuff like that. If they do grow, hopefully they do. I've never done this before. I've never really grown mushrooms before. I've kind of looked into it briefly. It looks, you know, pretty straightforward, especially in a grow kit like this. It's already pretty much assembled for you. Don't really have to do much thinking as far as what it needs. Just water as far as I gather. But we'll kind of read over this. It's a back to the roots growing kit, organic mushroom mini grow kit. I guess you can get these at your like big box stores, Menards, places like that, Fleet Farm, whatever. But it says that you can harvest delicious pearl mushrooms in just 10 days, and you just add water. So everything's included, and it's 100% guaranteed to grow. So, oh, and mind you, this is not like a review video or anything like that, not affiliated with this company or anything. This is just something that I gotten as a gift, like I said, and we're just going to give it a whirl. So if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, I don't know, I guess it doesn't. But so just as a heads up, no review or anything like that. So, but yeah, they kind of tell their little story of the business on this side. I won't go into that too much here. It just kind of gives you the basic rundown of the process. Open up the grow panel, which is on this side. It's actually perforated. The cardboard box is a little perforated, so you can just kind of punch it out. So that kind of makes it really easy that way. It says soak the kit overnight. Okay. See, I grabbed a jug of water. I read water, so I don't know. But then add water daily, and then you can harvest in just 10 days, apparently. So, yes. And it tells you a little bit about mushrooms and their benefits and stuff like that, how healthy they are, and even some of them do have medicinal purposes, so, which I like that. But to begin, I'm going to start opening this up, and it's basically just a cardboard box with a little cardboard handle, which is kind of neat. And yeah, like I said, the panel or whatever, the little opening, it's perforated almost like, you know, like a soda box would be. So you just kind of punch that out. Gives you a little spot here to pull. Oh, timer went off. I have the grow light set up on a timer, so it's about that time, I guess. But anyway, so I have it open. I mean, it's not pretty. I didn't go exactly on the lines, but so here's our opening, and inside it's like a plastic bag, like a plastic brick, I guess. And it's kind of mushy. It's white, and it's got a little like crumbly bits in there. And I guess the crumbly bits, that's your like substrate, which is essentially like your food source for the mycelium, which is your organism that produces the mushroom, because I guess your mushroom is just the fruit, or like the mycelium is the actual organism of it. It's like, I guess if we're talking like vegetable terms, it's like the plant and then the mushroom is your fruit. So, but it's not really a plant. It's actually in like an organism. It's classified as something else. And we can go into that in a whole different video if you guys like. But, because that'd be really interesting to learn a little bit more about mushrooms and stuff. They're kind of mysterious in their own way. But anyway, so yeah, it's basically just this little brick in a bag, and yeah, it's got the food in there for the mycelium, for the mushrooms to grow. And essentially, I think what we do really doesn't give like proper step-by-step instructions because it's just the bag. But I did look into it a little bit more, and it does say, I've seen it read that you just like cut a slit, or like, you know, maybe like an X, an opening, so there's a hole for the mushrooms to actually grow in. And then you can like, you know, soak it in your water or pour some water in there in that area to get it moist and hydrated, really hydrated, because this is kind of sitting in pause right now. It's like on idle, so it's just waiting for the proper conditions to actually fruit. So I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to get a little knife here, cut my little X, probably dump some of this water on here. A good amount. I'll see if it'll absorb. We'll see if it really absorbs in, because I'll just kind of keep adding until it's all nice and hydrated. And if not, then I'll just have to regularly check on it. And that's the whole point of this, is just to kind of see how this goes. Because I don't know how I can soak this overnight per se if it's all in this bag. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't just dump everything out. So I gotta, like, you know, have it enter somehow. So like I said, I'm going to grab my knife here and then cut my little slit. So be right back. Okay, so here I got my little knife, and what I'm going to do, like right here in my opening, I'm just going to cut an X right here just to see what happens. Maybe I'll do a smaller one on this side. And then maybe I'll do another one up here. We'll do 2 little X's. See what happens. See if I can get mushrooms to grow out of both X's. And hopefully that doesn't limit my potential yield either by limiting my X's or not. I should have had another one so I can do an experiment. But, so I have this cut. I'm going to kind of peel back the plastic. And then just to like open it up, that way I can actually get the water in. And it does feel somewhat like damp already, or like moist, but maybe that's just the mycelium I'm feeling. I don't know. But then I also read that to kind of stir it up, you want to just kind of agitate it a little bit maybe. So I'm just going to take my little prongs here and just kind of stir it just a tad, just zhuzh it up a little bit. It's a technical term, zhuzh. And then add my water without spilling it everywhere. I don't know how I'm going to do this in a jar. I didn't think about that. And it seems to be soaking in somewhat okay. Some of the water did go like on the outside of the bag, which is what I was afraid of, because I know this is a thick box, but I'd hate for that to start going bad and kind of rotting out on me. But we'll see how that goes. I'll probably just throw in a little bit more water. Like I said, I don't want to overflow it. And maybe it'll gradually absorb it. There. So I pretty much topped that off. I'll keep my eye on it, see if it absorbs any further, but for now, I think that's a good start. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it down here, probably throw it kind of on the upper shelves. I actually don't have any lights set up yet on the upper shelves. So, and I don't think light is necessarily a requirement. So, we'll see what happens. I'll have to read more into it because, like I said, there really isn't that like in-depth instructions. It's just soak overnight and then add water daily. So I'm definitely going to check it daily, maybe a couple times a day to make sure it's not dried out on me and just to see if there's any fruiting that occurs. Because once it starts to fruit, you'll see, I guess you'll see like little pins that start to come out, and then that's like the start of the fruiting stage, and then that's when it all happens. That's when the magic happens. So definitely keep an eye on it, and I'll definitely bring you guys down with me to check on it every day or so, a couple times a day, and we'll see what that all looks like. So, all right, I'm kind of excited. Hopefully we'll get some mushrooms because I've never grown them before, and I know you can grow them on all sorts of stuff. It's relatively easy, I'd say, kind of low maintenance. They do, I mean, once you get the materials and the environment set up, they kind of just do their thing. They run their cycles, so you just gotta kind of keep an eye on them. So fingers crossed, we'll see. Okay, everyone, this is the first morning. Last night was the day I put it on the shelf here, and today I am just kind of seeing how it's doing. You can see there's still some water in here, but it's not pooled up like it was, so it has absorbed down into the substrate block. So I think today I might just add just a little bit more moisture. But since this is kind of sitting here, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should wait till later. I don't want to overdo it. But, yeah, there's like some standing moisture there. So I think, yeah, I'll probably just leave that. And we'll check on it a little later today. So, here's our first check-in. Nothing exciting yet. Like I said, it's just kind of wet and spongy like. Almost like a big block of sawdust, and then you just put some water on it. So we'll check on it later and see what happens. Alrighty, this is the end of the first day. So, and the lights have shut off for the night, and I just came down just to kind of check on it. And it seems like you can kind of see there's still some moisture kind of standing, but it seems like it has absorbed a little bit more. I might just throw in a tad more water, just a little bit, nothing crazy. That way it's set overnight. But yeah, so far so good. So the end of day 1, we made it. We'll see what tomorrow brings. Alrighty, this is the beginning of day 2. We are down here in the morning, and still pretty much the same as yesterday or last night. I ended up putting some more liquid in here, so it's kind of just chilling. And I kind of thought about it, but maybe I shouldn't be like poking in here. I would hate to introduce any competing organisms that will compete against the mycelium in here, but I'm just so curious to see what's going on. So I just got to kind of fold the flat back, but that's pretty much where we're at. We're still absorbing the moisture, and hopefully these are proper conditions for the mycelium to want to start fruiting. Down here it is typically 68 to 69 degrees down here in the basement. Typically that's its standard temp, so I think that's right in that range, like right in the beginning of that range. So hopefully we'll get something here in the next few days, but So yeah, this is the beginning of day 2. Nothing exciting yet, but we'll keep checking. Alrighty, here's the beginning of day 3. I just did a quick peek last night at the end of day 2. Nothing new to report. Same with this morning. Seems like that moisture is slowly absorbing. I'm trying really hard not to like touch inside the box, just more or less the plastic. And it does feel nice and moist. Trying to keep the light out of the way here, just so we can see it. But there is still some moisture kind of standing in there, if you will. But yeah, that is pretty much it for now. Nothing new, nothing exciting yet. So we got about a week yet. It said 10 days we should start growing mushrooms. So we'll just keep our eyes on it and see what happens here. But yeah, this is what it's looking like. The beginning of day 3. Nothing fully exciting. Looks like just a big mushy brick right now. So, alrighty, we'll check back later on. Alright, this is the end of day 3. And again, nothing really exciting. Kind of see it still look very like wet and mushy. Trying not to like poke it too much. I'd hate for any sort of competing materials to get in there, you know, mold and stuff like that can form. But yeah, the end of day 3. So we'll see what happens on day 4. Okay, so here we are at the beginning of day 4. Today I did add some water to it. It looked not dry, but it looked like it needed some water, and I did put it on, I'd like standed it up like this just now to see maybe if the mushrooms do start to produce, that they can grow the way that they're supposed to instead of growing kind of funky. But I'll kind of zoom in on the substrate for you guys just so you can kind of see what it's looking like right now. Try and fold this back, but it does look just kind of like a kind of a wet sawdusty kind of mess. I don't know, nothing really exciting. I can't personally see any development. I mean, maybe there's a couple spots that might look like they could be something, but again, it is way too early to tell. This is only the beginning of day 4, so yeah. We'll kind of just see. We'll let it sit like this for the day. Maybe I'll spritz it with some water in a little more water. Because since I stood it up, a lot of this water is kind of settling down this way. So maybe I'll spritz it a little bit. But yeah, so we'll kind of see what happens later on today. Alrighty, sorry about all the background noise. Got some laundry going on. This is the beginning of day 6 because yesterday I was away for just a little family day trip, so didn't really get to see much of the progression since day 4 to day 5. But I came down this morning and I'll show you guys something kind of interesting. Turn them around. I did add some water, so that's why he's kind of dripping right now. But let's see if I can get the camera to focus in on it. But there's a little spot right here, that like gray spot. Those are called pins or pinners, and that's where the mushroom is actually starting to form. Now I think I have one right there, that little spot, but I'm not 100% certain if that's a true pin. But I know for sure right there that's a true pin. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try and slit a little hole, and maybe I'll probably cut some of this cardboard up. That way that can actually grow through, because that's where the mushroom's gonna produce from. And I'm gonna do all that. I'm gonna cut the slit, cut this open, and kind of zoom in better for you guys so you can actually kind of see what it looks like when it starts to actually pin. Okay, so here you can see I ripped the box open a little bit more because it had covered where the pins are starting to come up. And actually when I ripped the box open, I found some instructions on how to start your kit. So they're in there, I guess, hiding. But anyway, yeah, like I said, I'm gonna zoom in here. Hopefully I can focus in on it. Oh, there we go. So yeah, those are, you can kind of tell they look like just very baby mushrooms, but that's the term is pins or pinning. And yeah, that's kind of where they all start to cluster and form, and then as the days go, they'll obviously get larger and mature and turn into the mushrooms we all know and love today. So really exciting. So day 6 we are on today. I'll probably, you know, obviously check them a little later tonight just to see their progress. But yeah, I'm excited. So hopefully in the next few days we can have some mushrooms to eat. Okay, here is the end of day 6. The grow lights are turned off, but I want to just show you guys the progress of our little pins. And they have really grown up just throughout the day. It's really, really cool. You can kind of tell that they're actually little baby mushrooms in there. But now that we got to this stage, they're really gonna just start taking off. So that is super duper exciting. And I was kind of looking, it looks like there's some more kind of inside there. Yeah, it looks like there's even more kind of up in there. I'll have to move more of this plastic so they can, you know, really grow out. But very exciting to see. Let's see what tomorrow morning brings. Alrighty, good morning everyone. This is day 7. It has been officially a week since we started this little project together. And today, look at what we got. Our initial pins are actually doing phenomenal. They are growing in what I can say is lightning speed. And actually I noticed not only we have this cluster of pins, but we got a cluster of pins right in here. You can kind of see them starting to poke out a little bit. So that's really, really cool. And then actually this cluster has got a little like extendo cluster. So I might have to cut the plastic just a tad more just so they can eventually grow out. But yeah, it looks like there's gonna be a good amount of mushrooms. I'm really excited now that we are seeing some progress here. But yeah, I'm just down here to check them out, see what they look like, and then I'm here actually gonna spray them with some water. Got this little like squirt bottle here. I'll spray the box and stuff, just mist it up real good, get it nice and moist, and let it chill and do its thing for the rest of the day. And then we'll come down a little later this afternoon, this evening, and see how much bigger these little guys got. Okay, you guys, this is the morning of day 8, and yeah, we are cruising along. These guys are really, really developing nicely. I think I'm gonna spritz them with some water. You could even notice there's some growing this way, so I'm probably gonna make the slit a little longer, just so these guys can really push out. And even up top, let's see if I can get the camera to focus there. Under this flap here, there's even more. Right where my thumbnail's kind of pointing, there's a whole cluster in there too, kind of pushing through. So I might have to cut that plastic right up in there. That way they can grow in. But you could see this main cluster here is just doing fantastic. The caps are coming in nicely, and yeah, it's just really exciting. So And I think it's very nice that we're able to see the process or the progress, just matter of hours from each other, you know, like in the morning you see it one way, and then after in the evening it's totally developed into something a little bit different. So I'm really excited with this little project that we're doing, and I don't know, I think it's fun just to watch these things grow right before our eyes. Like, look at those little guys. Little baby mushrooms. Alrighty, good morning everyone. This is the beginning of day 9, if I'm not mistaken. I kind of lost count, and I don't know if you noticed, but I haven't been coming down at night. Things have just been really busy in the evenings, and I kind of lose track of myself and end up not coming down here all the time in the evening. So that's kind of on me. I haven't been double checking it like I said I should be, but anyways, this is the beginning of day 9 again, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure. And I've been kind of waiting to reveal all our progress. Kind of wish last night I would have checked it because of what I saw yesterday morning, and then what I kind of noticed today. But here we go. I'm gonna turn it for you. Ba-ba-bum. Look at that. Look at this nice big cluster. Isn't that amazing? So nice. It is taking up most of the top portion of this box. And then if I peel this back, you can see there's a couple more clusters starting to form, which is very, very cool. And even over here, there's some clusters kind of popping in on the side here, trying to latch onto this big guy. But yeah, it's really, really cool to see. You can kind of see all the, start seeing the gills kind of form. And the caps are looking nice. Definitely needs a few more days, if not like a whole day. I mean, these things are really cruising as far as their growth. Oh, it feels so soft and slimy. But yeah, so maybe probably a day or two, I'd say, because like I said, these things are really cruising. And I think at the end of the video, I'll really discuss in more detail about the growing conditions here and what the temperature's been at and stuff, because I have been checking my thermometer. I got one right there, and it's pretty consistent. So yeah, we'll talk more about that at the end of everything once we harvest or not, see what happens. But yeah, top of day 9. Maybe I'll remember to check it tonight, especially since these guys are a little more further along, and I don't want to not check them and then miss their harvest window, because they can kind of squeeze past that window a little too fast, depending on, you know, the situation. And I'd hate to do that and then harvest them and then not be able to really enjoy them or eat them because they are overly ripe or overly grown. I don't know the term for mushrooms, but yes, there's that sweet spot that you want to pick them so that you're ready to use them and eat them. But we will kind of keep our eyes open for that window and see if we can jump through it when the time comes. So, all right, I will definitely try to remember to check it tonight to see how much bigger these little puppies have really grown, because this is exciting. Alrighty, you guys, I remembered and made some time to come down here at the end of day 9. And you can kind of already see, I'm trying not to show you the whole picture just yet, but you can kind of see they're already peeking around the corner. But these guys have really grown since this morning. Like, okay, I'm going to turn the box around for you. Like, holy moly. Like, I'm probably going to have to, like, rip this part up just so they can kind of keep growing out. But these are just taking off. And then you can see there's another little cluster kind of shooting off there. And I think that's pretty much it for now. Like what's going on currently that I can see. There's just this huge cluster right here. And it's looking amazing. And I'm sure we'll give it maybe a couple extra days. I really am not too sure. I know when it comes to harvesting, when it's too late, these start to like curl back up. Like the ridges and the gills kind of get more exposed. So I'm really going to have to keep a really close eye on this in the next like day or so. Because these guys might be getting close to their prime, to their peak, to their harvest point. So, I don't know, it's getting exciting. Alrighty, well, we'll see what happens tomorrow. Let's see what these guys do overnight. So, alrighty, good night, see you in the morning. Morning, we are at the beginning of day 10, and let me just show you. It's pretty amazing. Just overnight, these guys have really, really grown, and honestly, I think it's safe to say these guys are ready to harvest. I know with oyster mushrooms, especially from a grow kit like this, you want to harvest them before your caps get too flat, because that means, because right now I'm assuming if this is the prime spot to pick, prime harvest time, the gills have really opened up. And let's see if I can zoom in on the gills for you guys. But yeah, the gills, oh yeah, they have definitely opened up, and the caps are starting to curl kind of up and out. And we don't want them too flat or to where the caps start curling upwards. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and pluck this guy, and we'll kind of talk more about our little project here, what we're gonna do. Alrighty, you guys, so it's not quite the end of the day yet, but I just got off of work not that long ago, and I just couldn't wait till later, so I figured I'd come down and check these guys out. And this morning they were looking pretty much ready to go, but I had to head off to work, so I didn't have quite the time, so I was hoping they could hold off a few hours for me. And I think we're still in that window. I think if I would have waited till later, it might have been too late to harvest these guys, but I'm going to turn it around and show you what we are working with. You can kind of see just from the side view, it is looking really, it's protruding out pretty good. And here's the front view. It's a nice plenty of caps, and these are oysters, of course, if you guys didn't know. But yeah, this was just to kind of recap a little bit from a back to the roots grow kit, mushroom grow kit. I'm not affiliated with the brand or anything like that. I just got this box or this grow kit as a like gift, and I'm sure you could find them at any local like gardening center and things like that, because these are kind of gaining some trend and all that. But it's very easy. I mean, you can see just how easy it took, and yeah, it's really amazing. So, and I just grew them here in the basement in my like Seedling-Start Station, so basement-like conditions with some grow lights. I'm sure you could really grow them in any room of the house, you know, if you want to put them on your countertop or, you know, up on the shelf somewhere, wherever. They just need, you know, some moisture. I took a spray bottle and I misted them every time I came down to show you guys. Like after I showed you, I just misted them real quick, make sure they were nice and wet. And you want fresh air exchange, because like these guys, they're like us, they need the fresh air. Can't have too much CO2 in an area, so if you have them in like a closet or something, that might not be good for fruiting when you're trying to actually produce a mushroom. But if you're trying to inoculate and let the mycelium colonize, that's a different story. But we can kind of maybe get into that in a different video if you guys like to kind of dig deeper into the whole mushroom world, but because I think this is really interesting. It kind of really has piqued my interest, and with just how easy this is, it's kind of neat. And it's good quality mushrooms too, I'm very sure of that. Especially with these grow kits. I know this one specifically is labeled as organic, USD certified, and non-GMO. So as long as you know where you're sourcing your substrates, the materials that the mushrooms grow off of, then I think you're pretty good. But yeah, so like I was saying with like the growing conditions, I guess mushrooms do like when it's about 70 to 90% humidity. That humidity factor kind of recreates, fall conditions and even some spring conditions. So, but that's pretty much what you want to like implicate. And same with the temperature. The temperatures, especially for oysters, they like it when it's around 65, 68 to like 70 degrees. Oh, it's time. The grow lights are off. But anyway, so yeah, they like those kind of fall-like conditions. And being in the basement, it actually worked out in my favor because I do have a thermometer sitting on the growing shelf at all times, and it pretty consistently stays at 68 degrees down here. Might go up to like 70 at most, but being kind of, in the ground to an extent, really helps maintain that temperature. So I think it's really nice down here. And then also with the humidity factor, we do have a dehumidifier down here, and lately I just haven't been having it run to help with the growth of the mushrooms. So, but now that these are done, I think I'm going to kick that back on just to kind of keep up with that, because it is very humid outside right now. We're kind of in that hot, rainy season, so I don't want anything to happen down here. But just for the time being, this was just 10 days. This was a 10-day project, so I think it was well needed and it was fine, not a big deal. And that's another thing, just how quick and relatively quick this can grow. And it can literally grow before your eyes. I mean, I checked on it for the most part twice a day, in the morning and then in the evening, and you could definitely see a difference within just hours of each other. And I kind of wish I had a time-lapse camera for you guys. That way you guys could really watch the whole growth of it. And I don't know, like I said, this really piqued my interest, so I think I might maybe try and find some more grow kits, or see if I can kind of come up with something where I can start growing mushrooms myself too. So we'll see. That's for the future projects and stuff. But yeah, anyway, I am getting ready to harvest this big cluster. There's a couple other clusters that I've noticed that kind of sprouted. I think the first thing I'm going to do is kind of cut away this face of the cardboard so I can kind of see what I'm fully working with. And another thing I wanted to point out quickly is, in order to tell when these are really ready to harvest, it's the caps. So the caps here, they're kind of curled under, and that's pretty much the prime time. And you can notice the gills have already opened up, so some spores have already released. And so yeah, and that's when the caps are kind of at their prime, because anything past this, they'll really start to, instead of curl like this, you know how they kind of should be, they'll start to kind of curl like back up, and then that's when they're kind of past. I'm sure you still could eat them, but they might not be as soft and might not taste as great either. So, but yeah, so, and you can I don't know if you guys can really tell on the camera, but some of these smaller ones are starting to curl up. But I don't think that's really a big issue. I still think we're in that prime window for the majority of this, so I'm not too worried. But so what I'm going to do, like I said, is I'm just going to try and cut away this remaining cardboard here just on the face. That way I can open it up more, kind of see the whole cluster a little bit better, and be able to actually harvest this guy, because this is really cool. Ooh, gotta be careful, the whole block almost fell out here. Okay. And by the touch, like, these are like, it's not slimy or like icky, but it's a nice cool. They're really cool, actually. And it's, I don't want to say sticky or squishy, but it is like a soft texture. So I don't know, it's interesting. And then I'll probably cut off this plastic just to get that out of the way. And then we'll cut this flap too, just to see what I'm working with. Alrighty, so we have this whole thing exposed. I don't want the whole block to fall out because it's kind of heavy in the front. But from what I see, well actually, let me just take this box out. I'm trying to see the best way to grab this guy because I don't want to ruin anything. But I've read the best way to harvest specifically these oyster mushrooms, because they do kind of, they're side growers, you know, they don't grow up off the ground, they grow on like tree, you know, tree stumps and things like that, so they kind of grow off to the side. So the best thing to do is kind of try to find where they're coming from your like base, your substrate, your log, whatever, and you want to kind of bring your hand in it, like kind of put it in between your fingers. And then obviously don't squeeze it too hard to where you break your mushrooms, but you want to kind of grip it and try and twist it in a manner that it just pops off. I think it might be easier if I do take this block out of the box. So you can kind of see this is what the whole substrate looks like. And all that white is the mycelium, and that's all from, you know, that's the actual living organism of the mushroom, whereas the mushroom is the fruit. So this is essentially, you know, in gardening terms, this is the plant, you know, your mycelium's your plant, and then this is like your tomato or your cucumber, you know, this is your fruit that you eat, so. But anyway, actually, before I go and pluck this guy, I really want to give you guys a close-up of what this really all looks like up close. You can see all the different things. So I'm going to grab the camera and bring you guys in for a nice close-up real quick. Alrighty, so I just grabbed the camera real quick, and I just wanted to show you kind of what everything's looking like. So here's obviously it laying on its back, so you can really see all the gills. And you could see like how these caps are curled under. This is what you want. This is what you want to look for, because anything that looks similar... Oh geez, I'm sorry. Juggling. Alrighty, so if you see anything that looks similar to like this, how this cap is starting to kind of curl up on itself, that's like past its prime, past its picking point. Whereas all these guys are looking pretty good. You know, they're still curled under and stuff. And like I said, the gills are nice and open. You can see all that. But yes, here's the main cluster. And then you could see there's some side clusters here. Some little guys still kind of growing in here. I think I will harvest this little cluster as well, just because this main one is like ready. And then this main cluster, I think, kind of morphed into two clusters, or two clusters morphed into one big one, because I can see some are protruding right here, but then the big cluster is protruding right down in here too, so you can really see how they're growing and where they're growing from. So it's really, really neat. It's kind of fun. It's really otherworldly. But anyway, so yeah, this is kind of a zoom up, and we'll get ready to harvest these guys. Alrighty, so to harvest this guy, like I was saying before, you kind of want to find where it's really growing from, the base of it, if you will, and try and take your hand and kind of have your fingers in between the base of it. And you want to try and grip it in a manner. Now, I've never done this before, but this is what I've seen and what I've read. And kind of grip it without squishing it too hard. And you want to try and like twist it. And oh, there we go. Yeah, just like that. Just gave way. I got a little bit of the substrate out with it, but I'm sure I can kind of pick that off to get away from that, especially when I go to eat this. But there you go. Ta-da! That gave way really well, really easily, more easily than I expected. And it all seems to be a nice one big mass. And then you can see I got a couple other clusters that were kind of just growing on their own within everything. And I'll try and pick those. These are easy, you can just kind of pull them off. Same with this guy. There you go. And here's some smaller ones. I'll probably pick those, but I don't think I'll eat them. Add them with the food bits, because I'll eat these. These look, you know, choice, if you will, and these don't look so choice. So yeah, here's our substrate block still. And honestly, another thing that I read is like in certain like grow like blocks or grow bags and that, you can get what they call flushes. So this was the first flush, and then if I were to kind of let this sit out on the shelf still and, you know, just maintain the growing conditions, it'll keep producing more fruit. It'll keep producing more mushrooms, so you can get at least one more good flush, maybe not as good as this, but pretty decent. And then you may be able to get a third flush out of your substrate block. And it also depends on, one, how big, two, what's the substrate exactly, because some substrates have a little more nutrients than others, and it depends on how fast the mycelium really eats up all that nutrients. So, and you'll kind of notice that between the different flushes. Flush 1 is obviously very prolific, very full, very big, fruitful. Then as each flush happens, you kind of notice less and less and less. So, but then once that's all done, we can take this to the compost, and this will turn into a very good mushroom compost. And I've also read that if you have a lot of mushroom compost, you can even start growing mushrooms in your compost. So, if the conditions are right. But I think I'm going to keep this and see if I can get another flush out of this, kind of use it, you know, get as much as I can out of this little block, because this was really neat. And yeah, I'll just kind of keep adding moisture. I might stir up the substrate a little bit. I don't know if that helps or hurts it really. I know the instructions do say, because there are instructions in here, you just got to open up the whole box. But it does say to kind of stir up the substrate a little bit, just to kind of agitate it, activate it, however. But yeah, so I'm going to keep that off to the side, and I'll definitely keep you guys posted on that, see how these next flushes happen. I don't know if I'm going to go in depth with a full video. Might just do a quick little check-in and stuff, so definitely keep your eyes open for that on our Instagram, maybe even TikTok. I'm sure I'll post something here on YouTube for you guys too. But yeah, this is really exciting, and I'm not done yet, but I brought out my scale just to see how much this all weighs. I was just really curious to see how much of a yield we were able to get from this box, or from this block. And yeah, I'm gonna do it in ounces, so we'll just kind of see what this is. So I got pounds and ounces. I'll put the little guys on first. Build up. Okay, so that's 0.6 ounces. And then, dun, 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 we have 6.3 ounces. Holy moly. It's amazing. I'll have to take a picture of that for you guys. Sorry, the heater just kicked on, or the water heater, so it might get a little loud. I'm going to try and speak up so you guys can hear me. But yeah, we are at 6.3 ounces, which I thought is pretty impressive. I wouldn't have guessed that, maybe 3, but I mean, I'm sure you could maybe take off the 0.3 because of the substrate, but really that's a good, I think that's a good yield. I don't know, I really don't grow mushrooms professionally, but I think that's really cool. And same with just growing mushrooms in general. I think that's really, really neat, really exciting, and kind of, I'd hate to use the word easy and come off wrong, but it's not very labor intensive, it doesn't seem like. I mean, you want to keep your eyes on it. You obviously want to provide the proper growing conditions and moisture, but really they kind of just do their own thing. You just want to make sure you catch them at that right time so you don't miss their harvest window, as far as my experience with this little project has been. So, and I definitely want to dabble a little bit more on top of everything else that I talk about, but this is really like, I don't know, something different. Very cool. But yeah, so obviously I'm definitely going to eat these tonight. I actually have homemade pizza planned. That's on the menu, so I think these would go perfect on top. And yeah, I'll definitely clean these up a little bit. Obviously take off the substrate, kind of cut off some of these smaller stems and stuff like that. You know, we'll get in here and see what these are all looking like. But yeah, I think this would be a nice addition to dinner. And yeah, I'm looking forward to including more mushrooms into our diet and onto the menu. So especially homegrown mushrooms. But I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video and doing this little experiment with me. I thought it was fun, and I hope to do plenty more in the future, and I hope you guys can join me for those as well. And don't forget to like this video, please leave me a comment, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any other future projects that we do here. Thank you guys again for watching. Have a great day. Bye.